The top stories tonight and why news. Metro Manila remains under general community quarantine.
Manila City plans for better drive-through COVID-19 testing and drive-through claiming of test results.
23 out of 163 potential COVID-19 vaccines is now at the clinical testing stage. The Education Department might allow limited face-to-face classes in areas with low risk for COVID-19.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson pledges an independent inquiry into the coronavirus in the future.
Taiwan ranks second safest country in the world, a survey said. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, July 16, 2020. I am Hernie Lagad.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the globe. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide with the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Pu.
First in the news, Metro Manila residents woke up today to another general community quarantine status. Our Malacanang correspondent, Rosalie Pons, tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte has approved to keep Metro Manila under general community quarantine for the next 2 weeks starting today. This despite having agreed with the recommendations of experts from the University of the Philippines to place the NCR again under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine or MECQ to contain the coronavirus outbreak. Based on the UP experts' forecast, COVID-19 cases in the country might reach 80,000 this month. So presidential spokesperson Harry Roque strongly warns people in Metro Manila to adhere to safety precautions and observe the minimum public health standards. But if not, in August, the entire Metro Manila will be placed under a stricter community quarantine level.
So pumayag po ang ating presidente na wag munang ibalik ang Metro Manila sa MECQ sa susunod na 2 linggo. Pero malinaw po sa diskusyon na kapag hindi pa rin po napabagal ang pagkalat ng COVID sa Metro Manila, posible pong bumalik sa MECQ pagkatapos po nitong 2 linggo.
He adds Metro Manila mayors promise to intensify their localized lockdown, testing, tracing, and treatment, and to strictly enforce restrictive general community quarantine rules. Aside from NCR, Laguna, Cavite, Rizal, Lapu-Lapu City, Mandaue City, Ormoc City, Southern Leyte, Talisay, Minglanilla, and Consolacion cities in Cebu Province, as well as Zamboanga City, Butuan City, Agusan del Norte, and Basilan are under GCQ also. Meanwhile, Cebu City is now placed under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine or MECQ, while localized lockdown, zoning, and strict observance of minimum public health standards in most parts of the country will be implemented, particularly the Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ moderate risk levels. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
On day 1 of the citywide lockdown, almost 800 security forces from the police and the military were visible in Navotas City today. And Mayor Toby Tiangco says there is a need for those security forces. One of our senior correspondents, Ray Pelayo, who is monitoring the situation there, will tell you why.
Philippine National Police Special Action Force troopers patrol the roads of Navotas City, where residents can hear them reminding about the stay-at-home order now that the city is under a 14-day lockdown beginning today until July 29. Data from Police Major General Guillermo Eliazar, the Joint Task Force COVID Shield Commander, noted that they have deployed 778 strong security personnel forces in Navotas, half of whom come from various units of the PNP and the military. Mayor Toby Chanco said they need the help of security forces to limit the movement of people and mitigate the spread of COVID-19. The city has so far recorded more than 1,000 residents infected with the new coronavirus. Over 600 of those are active cases. Some patients have been transferred to national government isolation areas after the city's own facilities reach full capacity. The mayor said police will arrest violators and even parents who will allow their children to go outdoors. Residents are allowed to go outside their homes only on their scheduled day to do essential activities like going to the market and buying their necessities.
Hindi talaga hihinto ito kung hindi naman natin hihinto yung unnecessary movement o hindi kailangan na paggalaw ng tao.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police makes it clear that in contact tracing efforts, the role of policemen is to escort healthcare workers for their security. Leia Ilagan tells us why.
The Philippine National Police clarified they will not run after COVID-19 patients like running after criminals. PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Bernard Banac says policemen will not do the house-to-house visit to look for people infected with the new coronavirus. He makes it clear that it's the role of local health workers to do such tasks, while policemen will only serve as escort and ensure their security.
Mangunguna pa rin talaga ang mga local health workers natin. At ang pagbabasihan yan ay of course yung mga listahan nila ng mga positive cases. So sila talaga ang nakakaalam yan.
But Banac says they will thoroughly look for individuals who have direct contact with COVID-19 patients to prevent the further spread of the deadly virus.
Ang pinapatungkulan ni PNP Chief General RG Francisco Gamboa ay yung pamamaraan ng contact tracing, no, na kung saan ay ito nga ay pinangunahan ni Mayor Benji Magalong, yung sistema ng paghahanap ng mga possible na mga exposure sa COVID-19. Hindi ito yung tungkol dito sa pagsundo ng mga positive cases na.
Last Wednesday, Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield Commander, Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Eleazar stated that policemen will only serve as escort of local health workers when transferring COVID-19 patients from their house to a government quarantine facility.
Ang role ng ating PNP ay para tumulong sa ating LGU through their health officers or workers. Kasi sila nakakaalam kung sino yung mga pasyente na positive na after testing at sila ngayon ay mas maganda na dalhin dun sa ating mga isolation facilities.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Bulacan Provincial Government and its health office await the license from the health department to formally open a new laboratory. Bulacan Province has set up its new molecular diagnostic laboratory to fast-track swab testing for COVID-19 patients and suspect cases. Through this molecular diagnostic laboratory, swab test results would be released faster. Here, 96 swab test results can be generated in 3 to 4 hours and almost 300 in a 12-hour operation. According to Bulacan Provincial Health Office, they are mulling over the process for approving free tests.
12-hour operations, almost 300 tests per day ang kaya natin gawin. Pinag-aaralan natin, pero definitely para dun sa charity, meron tayong proseso, may PhilHealth, pero yung sa private, pinag-aaralan pa natin yung system daw.
Meanwhile, Bulacan Governor Daniel Fernando says that they fear cases of coronavirus would rise with the opening of the new laboratory.
Marami yung positive asymptomatic. Hindi nga natin malaman kung saan nanggagaling to di ba? So ngayon expected na natin, lalo pag nagbukas to, sigurado mas dadami yung ating magiging kaso. Karamihan dito na nagtatrabaho ay sa Maynila, yung iba nagtatrabaho sa Maynila, so labas-pasok.
Manila City Mayor Francisco Moreno Dumagoso and Vice Mayor Dr. Hani Lacuna Pangan met with other city officials involved in the city's COVID-19 response. Yorme discussed the city's plan, which will benefit not only Manila City residents, but also their neighbors. Vincent Arboleda tells us why.
Manila City plans for a unique and better testing for COVID-19.
Families flock together going to Manila. And the way I look at it, it's a good problem. So today, we're going to have a meeting about expansion, making it bigger, better and efficient, para hindi tayo makabalang sa traffic.
Mayor Francisco Moreno Dumagoso said that with the help of the national government, the city may have a bigger and better site for their drive-through COVID-19 testing clinic, where traffic and the regular operation of hospitals will not be disrupted.
Para yung foot traffic, o yung tinatawag natin literal walk-in, ma-accommodate pa rin natin. At the same time, you know, this pandemic is a universal problem. You might be wondering, why are we offering this to everybody? Because I want an inclusive approach once and for all. Let's raise boundaries in our city.
Yorme said the aim is to help neighboring cities in the COVID-19 battle. Mayor Isko also revealed he has a plan on how people who have undergone their drive-through coronavirus test could get the results.
Okay, iniisip na ako, drive-through rin. Para hindi na sila malito. Pero yung mga taga-Maynila, ipadideliver ko kay MTPB, kay Director Biyahe, para hindi na matosgasan yung tao. Yung mga taga-Metro Manila, if they can drop by, get the result.
Mayor Isko also said they have their eyes set on where to place that drive-through area where test results will be claimed. He also assures people's confidentiality and privacy will be protected, adhering to law and order. The official also highlighted the initiative gives a huge significance to people's peace of mind in the middle of the global health emergency.
So having a significant, efficient way of testing gives them sense of security and peace of mind. Very expensive way. Pero I don't mind spending every single cent to give peace of mind to every citizen of Manila or any individual for that matter.
Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Elsewhere in Davao City, the local government unit launches a test and wait initiative. Through this, locally stranded individuals and returning overseas Filipinos will wait for their COVID-19 test results for only a few hours. Those who will yield positive for the virus will be directed to a COVID-19 facility. Those who will test negative will be sent home.
We needed a change in the game plan tungod sa burden sa contact tracing sa mga nagasulod o niya naga-positive sa ato ang mga RT-PCR tests.
Meanwhile, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio has also sent a letter to the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines and the Department of Transportation to require passengers to present negative RT-PCR test results within 48 hours before allowing them to check in the airport for their flights back to the city. This is due to the continuous surge in coronavirus cases attributed to the reopening of Davao Airport and commercial flights. And let's now take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of over 13.5 million confirmed cases in 188 countries, regions, and sovereignty. The fast-spreading disease has claimed more than 584,000 lives, while close to 7.6 million patients across the globe have recovered from the new coronavirus infection, thanks be to God.
Meanwhile, the country's Department of Health says that 2,498 new cases were reported today, July 16, based on total tests done by 71 out of 84 laboratories across the country. That raises the total confirmed cases of coronavirus infection in the Philippines to 61,266. Of the new cases today, 1,886 were reported in the NCR, 198 in Cebu, 57 in Cavite, 44 in Davao del Sur, and 44 in Laguna. There are 38,183 active cases remaining, and out of those active cases, 90.7% are mild. We have lost 29 more patients. But through our fervent prayers, medical interventions, and sacrifices of our medical frontliners, 467 more people have won their battle the invisible enemy. That brings the total recoveries nationwide to 21,440. Thanks be to God.
Malacanang appreciates the suggestions formally sent by the Office of Vice President Leni Robredo on the government's COVID-19 response. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque reveals he received the recommendations of the Vice President to the Interagency Task Force. However, the palace official says that most of the suggestions are already being done by the IATF, except VP Robredo's recommendation to include all local chief executives in the IATF membership. But Roque says this is not practical because the IATF meetings would last only for one day if they further expand their memberships. He, however, says mayors are regarded as resource persons by the IATF.
Karamihan po ng kanyang rekomendasyon ay pinatutupad na ng IATF. Papasalamat po kami kay Vice President sa kanyang panahon na ginugol para ipadala ang kanyang mga suhestyon. At bagamat ini-implement na nga po ang halos lahat po ng rekomendasyon niya, ay importante rin po na makipag-communicate pa rin tayo sa pangalawang Pangulo ng Bansa.
Meanwhile, AFP spokesperson Marine Major General Edgar Arevalo confirms that AFP Chief of Staff and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General Filimon Santos Jr. and himself tested negative for COVID-19. Both generals, the Secretary of National Defense Delfin Lorenzana, and other key officials who were in Hulo, Sulu last Monday underwent swab tests administered by the Luna Hospital. They remain to be in strict home quarantine while performing their duties and responsibilities. As of today, the AFP has 221 active cases of coronavirus infection, 22 have recovered, and 126 were cleared and allowed to return to their homes and report to work. A civilian human resource employee of the AFP has died from the disease. The AFP ensures to vigorously implement established health protocols issued by the General Headquarters to contain the incidence of infection within its ranks.
The clinical trial of Japanese anti-flu drug Avigan will soon begin in the Philippines. Meanwhile, testing on more potential COVID-19 vaccines are in progress. Our health correspondent Aiko Miguel explains why.
23 out of 163 potential COVID-19 vaccines under global clinical trial are now at the clinical testing stage. This means experts are studying and testing their efficacy before being given to COVID-19 patients. According to Food and Drug Administration Director General Eric Domingo, 2 of the potential COVID-19 vaccines are for testing on a bigger group. The COVID-19 vaccine candidates are AstraZeneca, which is being developed in London, and a potential vaccine of Sinovac in China.
Pag nag-trial po kasi, mas madali din yung process ng regulation, ng registration dito sa atin, at saka mas may chance tayo syempre na makakuha ng supply.
Meanwhile, according to the DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere, it is also a good news that the clinical trial for the Japanese anti-flu drug Favipiravir or Avigan will soon begin in the country.
We are fortunate that the Japanese have reached out to us to help increase the sample size of their Avigan drug trial. This is a potential treatment to prevent people from dying from COVID-19.
FDA has also approved a protocol for Avigan's clinical trial to commence. The FDA is also confirming another vaccine from Russia that is reported to be also in the advanced phase of trials.
Nakita nila na ngayon nga mukhang may maganda rin naman na positive effect siya dito sa bagong virus na to ng coronavirus. So ngayon po ay gagamitin na rin siya. So maliban sa Pilipinas, ginagamit din to sa clinical trial ng ibang bansa, USEC, no? Meron din sa Japan, sa China, sa US, sa Italy at sa Russia.
Currently, there are 253 COVID-19 patients in the country participating in the Solidarity trial using remdesivir, a drug against the Ebola virus. Remdesivir is one of the 4 drugs recommended by the World Health Organization used in the Solidarity trial. WHO has stopped the use of hydroxychloroquine, lopinavir, and ritonavir for COVID-19 patients in the Solidarity trial. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the local government of Quezon City has released its guidelines for the warrantless arrest of quarantine violators in the city. According to Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte, the case of COVID-19 in the city has increased following the successive downgrading of community quarantine classifications in the National Capital Region. Hence, the need for heightened enforcement of quarantine measures in Quezon City. Among the quarantine measures implemented in the city are the mandatory wearing of face masks, limitation of mass gatherings and physical distancing, regulating the sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages, and curfews. According to the guidelines, anyone seen violating the protocols may be arrested by authorities and private citizens. Violators will be fined with 20,000 pesos to a maximum of 50,000 pesos or 1 month to 6 months of jail time, or both, depending on the discretion of the court. As the opening of the next academic year approaches, some higher education institutions say they might close. John Nano tells us why.
Due to fear of possible COVID-19 transmission, a lot of parents opted not to enroll their children in college for the upcoming academic year. Because of this, many colleges have declared they will pause their operations due to a small number of enrollees, according to Commission on Higher Education head Prospero De Vera. In a recent press briefing with President Rodrigo Duterte, Commissioner De Vera said that some private colleges and local government units are clueless on how the education system will be, as CHED plans to resume classes in August. Most of those institutions are located in areas without access to the internet.
Humihingi ho ko ng guidance yung mga private schools in particular tsaka local governments. Kasi hindi ho nila alam ang gagawin lalo sa mga area na wala talagang internet connection. Meron na pong ilang eskwelahan na nagsabi sa CHED na magsasara sila dahil yung enrollment po ay talagang bumaba, natatakot ang mga magulang at estudyante.
CHED has also instructed schools to move practicum subjects to the second semester or by January next year, which include laboratory, on-the-job training, and internship, among others, while lectures on theories will be conducted during the first semester that can be done through online schooling.
The options will be from the more open, limited face-to-face in low-risk MGCQ areas to the most conservative, do it in second semester.
Meanwhile, the National Task Force Against COVID-19 will conduct inspection among schools in areas under modified general community quarantine to check their compliance with the health and safety standards, as the government is considering the conduct of limited face-to-face classes. NTF Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Galvez says that using school playgrounds and cafeterias should be prohibited, and there must be no buffets in school canteens. He explains these areas are likely venues to spread the virus. He adds that schools must have separate entry and exit points in case limited face-to-face classes resume. And if there will be zero transmission of the disease, they will experiment limiting the number of students in a classroom to 10.
So yun po ang recommendation ko po, Mr. President, na if we will really decide na magkaroon tayo ng, for example, 10 per classroom, tingnan po natin po yung mga tatawag nating mga strategies natin na magkakaroon po natin na nakita natin na mga 96% walang transmission or even mga 100% na ma-ensure natin na magkakaroon po tayo ng redundant preventive measures para po hindi magkaroon po ng transmission.
A model school will be selected to showcase the proper health standards according to Galvez. He also informed the president about the planned COVID-19 swab testing of private school students living in dormitories. Joanaro, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Education is open to possible limited face-to-face or physical classes this coming school year. Dante Amento will join us tonight to tell us why live. Dante.
Yes, Harleen, considering that there are areas which have low risk for COVID-19, DepEd is mulling over allowing face-to-face classes in such places. The education stresses, however, that they will have to make sure minimum health standards are met before implementing such limited face-to-face classes. For instance, physical room arrangement will be checked if it is possible for the students to observe physical distancing. According to Secretary Leonor Briones, there will be batches scheduled to go to class for particular school days.
Ang facilities ay maka-accommodate ng requirements for social distancing, for washing of hands, for supply of medicines, etc. At saka hindi kailangan, Tech Martin, na araw-araw yung mga bata papasok. Kailangan i-adjust yan sa size ng classroom, maybe by batch.
DepEd may also adopt some safety health protocols done in other countries, like installing barriers on students' chair. These proposals have been brought up to the President, Secretary Briones added.
Slow by slow, careful evaluation bago papayag tayo sa face-to-face na sessions na limitado. Maliwanag sa Presidente, binigyan niya talagang diin niya.
Meanwhile, DepEd will offer the alternative or informal learning system or ALS for students who will fail to enroll this year. DepEd admits that due to the current financial crisis, national enrollment has decreased by more than 20%. Arlene?
Dante, we know that many parents have lost their jobs due to the pandemic, and that means that they cannot afford to spend for the gadgets of their children. How does the government intend to respond to this challenge?
Yes, Harleen, according to Education Secretary Briones, that the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, has promised to give or allocate 10.9 billion pesos for the purchase of learning materials and gadgets, such as radios, especially for those in remote areas, Harleen.
One thing, Dante, there are also reports that many students have transferred from private to public schools. How many are those, and what are the current numbers of employees, of enrollees rather?
Yes, Harleen. Based on the latest data from DepEd, a total of 305,842 learners moved in from private schools to public schools, and records also show 20,744,595 national enrollees across the country. As of today, 626,653 are in public schools and 1,092,514 in public or in private education institutions. Back to you, Harleen.
All right, thank you so much, Dante Amento, for that report. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has decided to deliver his fifth State of the Nation address, or SONA, at the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City on July 27. That's according to Senate President Vicente Soto III. Soto says a maximum of 50 persons will be allowed inside, 25 of whom will be coming from the Executive Department, while the another 25 will be from the Legislative Department. Out of the 25 persons in the Legislative Department, 13 will be coming from the House of Representatives, while 12 will be from the Senate. According to Soto, 9 congressmen is expected to attend, while 8 from the senators who have expressed intention to attend. They are Soto himself, Senate Majority Leader Miguel Zubiri, Senators Panfilo Lacson, Francis Tolentino, Ronald De La Rosa, Christopher Bongo, Sherwin Gatchalian, and Pia Cayetano. The Senate President assures all attendees will have to undergo rapid testing and health protocols will be observed.
I agree with that decision of the Executive Department, because we must give the country and the public and the people the semblance that your government is up and about and ready to continue with its job. So, I think it'll be safe. Hindi kami magkakalapit-lapit doon, for sure. Tapos nakamask lahat yun. Everybody will be rapid tested.
Meanwhile, the Senate is expected to pass the Bayanihan to Recover as one act, also known as the Bayanihan 2, a day after the opening of the second regular session of Congress. According to Soto, they will not change the version of the bill that they have approved in second reading, which include the realignment of 140 billion peso standby fund for the country's COVID-19 response. However, they will continue to hear other economic stimulus bills that economic managers have been calling for.
The executive department will back us up in the 140 billion that possible for Bayanihan 2. Because there is a forthcoming naman economic stimulus pieces of legislation that will support it thereafter. Yung sa House kasi na version, ang alam ko, malaki, trillion eh. I don't think it will be accommodated. So what will happen is that in the BICAM, baka may mga konting, may slight na difference pa rin siguro ng usapan.
Other measures that the Senate will prioritize in the opening of second regular session include the Corporate Income Tax and Incentives Reform Act, or CITIRA, Expanded Solo Parents Act, the Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund Act, Mandatory ROTC Bill, and the creation of Department of Disaster Resilience. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, is affecting southern Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. State Weather Bureau Pagasa says Mimaropa, Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, northern Mindanao, and Caraga may experience cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Meanwhile, Metro Manila and the rest of the country may experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers due to localized thunderstorms. Possible flash floods or landslides may occur during severe thunderstorms. No tropical cyclone advisory is issued.
Malacanang has announced that it will help ABS-CBN employees who will lose their jobs as a result of the company's decision to retrench some of their employees starting August 31. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
The government wants to help provide opportunities to ABS-CBN employees who will lose their jobs after August 31, 2020. This was after the Giant Media Network announced it will cease the operations of some of its businesses and implement a retrenchment program. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque revealed that the Department of Labor and Employment will have a one-stop shop to provide aid to ABS-CBN employees affected by the retrenchment. But Malacanang clarified that this will not be limited to just ABS-CBN employees, but to other citizens as well who lost their jobs in the midst of the pandemic.
So, tinawagan ko na po si Secretary Bello. Magkakaroon po siya ng one-stop shop center para po sa NCR at para po sa ABS-CBN para makapag-apply dun po ang mga mariretrench na empleyado ng ABS-CBN. Magkakaroon din po siya ng job referral system. Baka magkaroon din po ng parang job fair, no? So lahat po yan ay kinumpirma po ni Secretary Bello. Pero siyempre po ito ay para bigyan ng pagkakataon yung mawawalan ng trabaho sa ABS-CBN, but it will be open to everyone.
ABS-CBN announced the retrenchment yesterday after the Committee on Legislative Franchise of the House of Representatives did not allow their franchise renewal. The ABS-CBN management say they are doing all they can to mitigate the pain felt by the affected employees and will provide separation pay, retirement benefits, and job placement programs. The media network says this is the only way to ensure that other employees will be able to continue with their work. ABS-CBN also thanked all of its employees for everything that they have done for the company. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The fifth State of the Nation address of President Rodrigo Duterte on July 27th will be held in Batasan, Pambansa. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, it is not yet confirmed if the chief executive would go there personally or he would have to deliver his speech through a video telecast from Malacanang.
Venue is confirmed, it is Batasan, no? Pero ang alam ko po, hindi pa po 100% sure kung physically mag-a-attend ng presidente or magbo-broadcast po from Malago to Congress.
And for the news abroad, here's Jovic Burmas live from London, United Kingdom. Jovic, good evening. What have you got for us?
William, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson pledges an independent inquiry into the coronavirus in the future. In Brazil, President Jair Bolsonaro says he will get tested again in the coming days after receiving his test result for COVID-19 on Wednesday. And I will tell you why in Thailand, another top official hands in his resignation.
Go ahead, Jovic. Please tell us why.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson promises that there will be an investigation into the coronavirus pandemic so lessons could be learned, but that now is not the time. This comes after the COVID-19 bereaved Families for Justice group urged the UK Prime Minister to meet with them to discuss their concerns. The group, representing the people bereaved by COVID-19, expressed their disappointments to the UK leader's pledge and commented that it was a long way from what families need to see. While Prime Minister Johnson declined their appeal, Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer met the group and insisted for an immediate probe into the government's handling of the pandemic. The idea of an independent inquiry is to hold the government officials accountable and try to learn lessons from decisions that have gone wrong and how to avoid the repercussions in the future. Downing Street, however, did not give any further details about the nature of the inquiry, whether it will be led by a judge or when it will begin, adding that the procedure will be announced in due course. Also in England, a virus-hit farm locked down to contain the spread of COVID-19. 72 workers at a farm in the English counties of Worcestershire and Herefordshire have been confirmed to have gone down with COVID-19, amongst the mostly foreign workforce. The farm was locked down immediately, but the outbreak raised questions about working and living conditions for seasonal laborers in the UK. Health experts have warned of more coronavirus outbreaks in workplaces where employees gather. For many years, fruit and vegetable picking in the UK has been done by a workforce mostly made up of Eastern Europeans. And travel restrictions issued by the government makes many workers couldn't or chose not to work in UK this year. That led to the launch of a government scheme called Pick for Britain, encouraging domestic workers to pick fruit and vegetables, which was even backed by the Prince of Wales. After outbreaks at meat packing plants, farming is the latest industry forced to confront new ways of working. But new way requires more PPE and more space for living quarters, which is not cheap, making farmers with narrow profit margins struggle to put the health of their workforce at the forefront of what they do. So incidents like these set warnings for the government to do more to solve labor shortage. The results of another COVID-19 test done on Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro came out positive again. On Wednesday, he suggested he has yet to recover from an infection first diagnosed last week. Since he contracted the virus, the president has said he remains in good health and he would resume his normal work schedule if he tested negative this week. He also said he would get tested again in a few days.
I want to tell you all that thanks to God, I am very well. I have received medication from the beginning with hydroxychloroquine. It was a medical recommendation, and I felt an improvement on the second day. And on the next day, I didn't have strong symptoms. Just a small fever last Monday, July 6th. It was 38 degrees. I was a little tired with muscle pain and everything else is fine. Coincidence or not, there's no scientific proof for the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine, but it worked for me.
Meanwhile, in South Korea, a senior government official said the country needs to train for potential infectious disease outbreaks worse than COVID-19. National Health Insurance Service President Dr. Kim Yong-ik explained it's necessary to prepare for epidemics that are more highly transmissible and fatal and run simulation exercises on various scenarios, such as how to transform the existing hospitals, where to send the medical staff, or where to send patients. South Korea's early success to tame the novel coronavirus through aggressive contact tracing and testing has been touted by disease experts worldwide as gold standard of how to effectively control infectious disease. Its early state intervention limited widespread community infections and helped hospitals keep sick beds available for severely affected patients. But its extremely low rate of public hospital beds, only 10% of total, remains a potential weak spot as the country continues to battle small but persistent outbreaks and frontline public healthcare workers suffer burnout after more than 6 months of treating COVID-19 patients. Let's now take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases in countries worst hit by the pandemic. The United States of America, as of today, has recorded close to 3.5 million confirmed COVID-19 cases, including more than 1 million recoveries. Trailing it is Brazil, with close to 2 million confirmed positive cases, with more than 75,000 deaths attributed to the new coronavirus, and more than 1.3 million survivors of the deadly disease, surpassing that in the USA. According to the World Health Organization, more than 187,000 were reported globally in the past 24 hours. Of the world's more than 13 million cases, 7 million are from the Americas, and about 3 million came from Europe, the continent's most struggling against the disease. Meanwhile, in Thailand, another top official steps down. Finance Minister Uttama Savanayana handed in his resignation today. The departure of Uttama comes as the government has been rolling out billions of dollars of stimulus measures in a bid to support an economy battered by the pandemic's hit to tourism and domestic activity. For the country to move forward, the resignation will help eliminate ambiguity towards politics, Uttama explained. According to media reports, Predi Dauchai, president of the Thai Bankers Association, is expected to be the next finance minister. Longtime economic policy czar, Deputy Prime Minister Somkit Jatusripitak, also submitted his resignation, Uttama said. Thosaporn Sirisumphand, Secretary General of the State Planning Agency, is reported to be the favorite to replace Somkit, according to local media. The Energy Minister and the Minister of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation also resigned as part of a major shakeup of the Cabinet's economic team. And those are the reasons behind the news here in the United Kingdom and other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you, Jovic Burmas. You stay safe there in London. The Twitter accounts of major companies and individuals have been compromised in one of the most widespread hacks the platform has ever seen on July 15. That includes high-profile accounts, including those of President Barack Obama, Democratic candidate Joe Biden, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The hack is attributed to an apparent Bitcoin scam. In a series of tweets posted under its support channel, Twitter said that its internal systems have been compromised by the hackers. Twitter said they detected what they believed to be a coordinated social engineering attack by people who targeted some of their employees with access to internal systems and tools. Following the unprecedented hacks, Twitter says it took the drastic step of blocking new tweets from every verified user, compromised or not, as well as locking all compromised accounts. Twitter says it won't restore access to their owners until they are certain they can do so securely. England quick Jofra Archer will miss the second test against West Indies after a breach of the team's biosecure protocols. The England and Wales Cricket Board, or ECB, said today, just hours before the start of the match. Archer will now commence 5 days of isolation and will undergo 2 COVID-19 tests in this period, which have to test negative before his self-isolation period is lifted, the ECB said in a statement released 3 hours prior to the scheduled start time. The board did not specify the nature of the breach, but said the West Indies team were satisfied with the measures taken. Archer apologizes for his action.
Island nation Taiwan has been voted to be the second safest country in the world, next to Qatar, according to a survey. Amiel Pascual will explain why.
Once again, Taiwan is proven to be one of the safest countries in the world. And this year, the island nation ranked second among a survey conducted by a global database site Nambio. Among 133 countries and territories, Taiwan scored 84.74 based on the Safety Index. Taiwan is behind only Qatar and is followed by the United Arab Emirates, Georgia, and Oman. This year's survey was based on the crime level in each country. According to a U.S. State Department report, Taiwan is considered to be a low-threat location for crime. The extensive CCTV coverage throughout Taiwan plays a significant role in deterring most criminal activities, making the lives of people generally safe. In Taipei and New Taipei City alone, there are about 65,000 cameras installed at traffic intersections, public and private establishments, hotels, residential buildings, and even parks. Violent crimes against foreigners and tourists are unusual, but the non-natives are always reminded to take precautions, especially in crowded places. The emergency line in Taiwan is 119, and police reports can be reported through 110. Meanwhile, the Philippines ranked 63rd with 57.78 points in its Nambio survey. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue, Taiwan. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A university in Malaysia turns a decommissioned bus into a tiny home. Nina Armillo has the story why.
What a cozy looking room! The interior, very refreshing. But did you know this used to be a bus? Yes, this is what a decommissioned University Malaya student bus looks like in the inside after being converted into a tiny home for rent. It was used to ferry University Malaya undergraduates. University Malaya's Master of Science student Siti Nurasia Kadir said the idea to refurbish the bus originated from the university's former Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Faisal Adikan. The university secretariat has been entrusted with the asset, which is seen to generate income and support the uni's sustainability efforts. For the transformation, a crane lifted up the bus, taken off the road in 2013, into the house compound and made sure that the surrounding trees were unharmed. The university had initially wanted to dispose of the old bus in 2016 that has been stranded on campus for many years, City said. This was how UM bus number 26 looked when it was still in the UM campus. The project, completed in 6 months, showcases the university's sustainability effort and the creativity of University Malaya's own internal affair. The tiny home for rent was scheduled for launching in April, but was shelved due to movement restrictions amid the COVID-19 pandemic. It's now parked at the university's Ruma number 2 near the Language and Linguistic Faculty. Nina Armillo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news, July 16, 2020. I am Jorlene Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Have a great evening.